are these people?
So, I pulled all these stories last night. And I know people probably saw some of this on Twitter, but hidden video shows U.S. Navy jet fuel spewing in Hawaii. The U.S. Navy is now investigating the source of the media leak, which shows an estimated 20,000 gallons of fuel entering the Red Hill Tunnel in Hawaii. And this is by Ann Wright over at Common Dreams. Consortium is kind of, publishing this as well. Dual publishing, I guess. But we've had her stuff before. I think when we talked about the container trucks that could be taking this fuel out of there quicker than
right off the top.
Yeah,
they're not even investigating the cause.
Yes,
they're investigating the media leak.
Right.
Yeah, they don't care about the cause of the actual problem.
Yeah,
they just want to know how anyone found out.
Yeah. So a dramatic video hidden for 6 months by the U.S. Navy shows 20,000 gallons of jet fuel spraying into a Red Hill tunnel for 34 hours. The fuel entered a floor drain that sent thousands of gallons into the water supply of 93,000 residents. The video surfaced on July 5th after an undisclosed Navy employee made it public. Thank you, undisclosed Navy employee.
Yes.
We appreciate yous. I'm just sharing all the INN links, INNs around. So why, Twitter, why you do this sometimes? But anyway, the video was taken by an employee whose cart ran into a pipe that broke, allowing the jet fuel to spray. Now that it is available to the public, the Navy is investigating the media leak of the video. For 7 months, it told the state of Hawaii, its congressional delegation, and the public that the leak did not exist. So, yeah, they're just like, no, it didn't happen. No.
How does anyone trust any government, representative at all for, anything?
I
don't
knew.
care if they're telling me the ice cream flavor now. I'm just assuming they're lying.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? No, that's who are these people? Why? Need to make sure you have audio here soon too. But anyway, so Earth Justice Attorney David Hinkins said that it's pretty offensive that they would go after someone is providing information that the public has a right to see, that they are not apologetic for not releasing the information to the public and instead are trying to stomp it out is really offensive. The video surfaced only days after the Navy attempted on June 30th a midnight out-of-sight release of a stunning January 2022 investigative report of the March and November 2022 massive leaks of jet fuel. So, here is the video. Did you see this, Yeti?
Yeah, I was watching it earlier today. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing.
I mean, it's pretty short. It was going for 34 hours, apparently, that leak. Yeah, so,
but that's pouring out.
That's
it's dripping
pressurized.
Out.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's
that's got to be gallons per minute coming out of there, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, they said 20,000 gallons. Yeah. In 34 hours. And so that
went into the streams?
That went into the water supply.
Okay, the actual aqueducts then.
Yeah, the aquifer or whatever. Well, it went into a drain. A floor drain.
Yeah, whatever
and then from the floor drain that would have leaked into some water supply somewhere that would have then gotten contaminated others. Yeah.
Even if that goes through the sanitation stuff, is that really going to take all that out though?
No, because it's this is part of the problem. Yeah. I mean, they can eventually but they have to test for it and and if they weren't saying that the leak happened at all,
no one's going to test for it.
No one's going to test for it. So, it's kind of like what happened with Flint. Until someone actually whistleblows on it, they don't start testing it. They don't start doing any of that. But
the water is still not drinkable in Flint.
Yes. Yeah. So
another fuck up by Obama.
What's up, Yipper? Nice to see you here.
Howdy.
You know, Steven Donziger, who we all know,
Yep.
says shocking video from at Civil Beach shows jet fuel leaking from the Navy's Red Hill storage tanks in Hawaii. This is just above an aquifer that provides water to 90,000 people. This flagrant neglect has poisoned thousands. And he posts the same video we just watched. So the article continues. The Honolulu Board of Water Supply and community groups, including Sierra Club, Hawaii Earth Justice, and Oahu Water Protectors, had strongly called in town hall meetings and in writing for the release of the investigation throughout the delay of 6 months between the writing of the report and its release. So, on transparency and trust of the Navy, Ernie Lau, the chief engineer of Honolulu Board of Water Supply, says, the whole issue of transparency has always been a challenge. They, meaning the Navy, can provide the rhetoric to say that they will be transparent and build trust, but it's really the actions that are not consistent with that rhetoric that demonstrates that they're not being actually transparent, and that there may be more information that's available that could be very valuable in looking at what was the scope and magnitude of the problem and what we need to do to recover the aquifer from contamination. So, the January 2022 report, finally released on June 30th, stated in remarkable candor for an internal Navy investigation that laid bare the human errors and systemic negligence that allowed 2 catastrophic leaks to occur within months of each other. Rear Admiral Christopher Kavanaugh's investigative report revealed that there was a culture of disregarding procedures, poor training and supervision, ineffective command, a lack of ownership over operational safety, a lack of timely, accurate, and thorough reporting, and a flawed investigation into the May spill. In the November 2021 leak, the Navy initially said that 14,000 gallons of fuel and water was released, but in fact, the Kavanaugh report says the pipeline was holding 16,999 gallons of jet fuel, which was released on full blast. Yeah, I mean,
So
you saw
I
that.
did some math for
Yeah.
the fans at home.
Nice.
That's 4.7 gallons of jet fuel per person.
Per person. So
Yep.
that's what you would have been
Almost 5
drinking in
gallons.
your water. Like, you took a bath and you would have taken a bath in it. You would have taken like, and we'll get to it in a second
Cooked
about
with
how
it, everything.
that affects
Watered
people.
your garden with it.
Yeah.
So that's anything you've grown now also is contaminated.
Yeah.
So if you do homesteading of any sort,
Right.
that's almost probably garbage now.
Yeah. So if you the investigative findings mirror the community's decade-long concerns that Red Hill is fundamentally unsafe, a contention that the Navy denied for years. Until the June 30th release of the January investigation, they were right. Sam Paparo, commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, told Civil Beat after a press conference to discuss the findings, the Navy was wrong to say that it was safe. That is clearly evident in the outcome. Now, last time we talked about this, Yeti, I think we focused mainly on the infrastructure that was there already, right? That was
because we were
failing.
talking about ways to get the fuel out.
Right. And it was like that these pipes and the holding facilities weren't able to essentially effectively hold these without further contamination, right? That like
so they were talking about doing trucking in.
Like right. And if you get a ton of trucks and like you really need like something like 15 like working like there was like a couple of shifts working around the clock, you could get all this stuff done in like a couple of weeks, which the Navy is unwilling to apparently do. They want to build a whole new thing and get funding for and like
because all the money to the Navy goes to the billionaires, not actual things.
Right. Yeah. But I think our pal Steven Donziger also gives us this lovely interview from, does he say her name? I think he does in the next. Izzy Corican is 22 and married to a U.S. Navy pilot. Her story is chilling. So he posted the horrific video of the Navy's jet fuel leaking. Below is the human impact from poison water that affects 90,000 families. We'll let Izzy tell her story.
You've had a specific problem with water pollution or pollution in your drinking water. Tell us about it.
So I used to live on AMR, Aliamanu Military Reservation. I lived there for the last 3 years. In the past 3 years, I had a bunch of random medical issues. I had actually back in 2019 a cardiac arrest issue, and ever since then my doctors told me it was mental. It must have been in my head. I was getting really sick. I was losing a lot of weight. And then flash around to Thanksgiving of this last year, my friends and I all ate together. We all that night got super, super sick, and we found out a few days later that the Navy had poisoned our water and that we all used that water to prep our Thanksgiving meal together. And ever since then, our life has been kind of a spiral of crazy. We were displaced from our homes and put in hotels for all of the holidays. My dogs and I were split up for 5 months.
And how do you know it was the Navy that poisoned the water? How'd that go down?
So the Navy has a Red Hill fuel storage facility that they store their fuel a couple hundred feet above most of the island's aquifer in their drinkable water. And since they've set up, they've leaked.
So the jet fuel's leaking into the water that people drink?
Hundreds of thousands of gallons into our water.
And do you know, do you smell the jet fuel when you drink the water or it comes out of your faucet?
Back at the beginning of this, yeah, we did notice a smell and a little bit of a taste. And, at the time when we were getting sick, you make tea, you drink water, you make soup, you all these things that included the water, and we were just making ourselves sicker and sicker and sicker until they finally told us what they've been doing to us for months.
At that point, did they offer you some sort of bottled water or clean water?
They did offer us bottled water pickup, but it was based on how many people you had in your family is how much you could pick up for the day. They had potable water, but they wouldn't tell us where it was sourced from. So that was a little weird. A lot of people weren't really comfortable using that. So from that point, we were in our hotels, we were showering there, only consuming bottled water. I was hauling for my family 25 gallons of water a day by myself.
So, yeah. How much did she say she was hauling?
25 gallons a day.
Jesus.
That's a lot of water, man.
Yeah.
That's like one of those big tote bins of water.
Yep. Pretty much. Yeah, they built a fuel storage facility above the water. How many more of those are there built above water? Loads. I mean, technically you have to aquifer liquid, aqueduct liquid like that. You either have to pressurize it somewhere, to get it to flow that far,
Well,
you think
this is happening there. How many other places does this happen that people haven't caught on to?
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder how many random illnesses there are around military bases.
Probably. Well, I mean, classically, they, my father being one of them, when he was at Camp Lejeune, they poisoned a lot of the Marines, like themselves, essentially gave them Agent Orange. So to some degree, but yeah, this is stuff the U.S. military is perfectly fine with doing. I mean, even now, Jon Stewart has been talking about the burn pits in Iraq and Afghanistan causing loads of problems among soldiers and people around base.
What are the burn pits?
They burn human feces and garbage and all sorts of stuff, and they have people that it's their job to do that, and those guys are lots of health problems. But I know Jon Stewart was pushing for help with that at one point in time. But yeah, Donziger has a part 2 to this. So we'll watch that.
I know that your profession, you're a dog groomer, a mobile dog groomer. You go around with your truck and you groom dogs. Have you noticed the impact of the contaminated water on dogs?
Yeah, I've had a lot of dogs around the time when we were notified about the fuel contamination that had weird skin allergies and skin issues and flare-ups all over the place, weird lumps and stuff, and no one knew what was going on. I've had a few of my customers whose dogs have passed during this that were otherwise completely healthy young dogs that were told they just passed from random kidney failure because of elevated kidney levels, and they couldn't tell them why, but that all of the dogs lived in the same area.
Is the medical profession on the island being honest with people about the effects of...
Not at all. I had to pay to go to a civilian doctor to be able to get diagnosed with environmental toxicity poisoning.
And you were diagnosed? And are you okay now?
I've lost nearly 40 pounds. I can barely keep a meal down still. I've lost a bunch of hair. I had rashes all over my body. I have dizzy spells. I have times where I can't hold focus on anything. It's just been...
You think you had neurological damage, maybe?
I have no idea. I mean, who knows what consuming fuel for who knows how long, and literally everything that we were using and doing will do to you.
Are you hopeful the Navy will clean it up?
I'm hopeful, but from what I've seen so far, actions speak louder than words, and their actions are not lining up with their words at all.
So they haven't cleaned it up? And are you still living in a place where the water's poisoned, or are you in a different place now?
I mean, that's kind of a multifaceted issue, because there's some speculation that before they closed certain wells and stuff, that contamination reached through other areas, and there's evidence of contamination in other areas of the island. So for my family and ourselves, we're paying out of pocket to use bottled water for our dogs, for ourselves, for all consumption, for anything that our body's going to intake, because I just don't want to chance it anymore, and especially with my dogs.
Yep. So not only were they hurting people, but they were hurting puppers. Not the puppers.
Exactly.
Please, not
Well, you
the
think
puppers.
of all the animals that were probably like affected on top of
Oh
this.
yeah, loads. I mean, this will have ramifications for a long time, probably there. You know.
Yep.
So I wish I knew how to, like, you know, make that all better. But why is this now? Okay, there we go. Display Fusion wants to cause me problems. But anyway, and it of course has to load on this other thing. But so yeah, I mean, this is kind of classic, par for the course, like government corruption.